The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare was probably first performed in 1597, and it takes elements from 8 known different sources, probably The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe as well. The play is a play of discrimination, of love and hate, of mercy, justice and revenge, of appearance and reality. Usually, people have prejudice against people or situations they don't know and they fear. They tend to avoid situations and people who can make them feel not at ease, rather than simply face them and start to know them better for what they really are. The Jews are God's chosen people according to the book of Genesis, the first book in the Hebrew Scriptures, the Old Testament of the Christian Bible, while the New Testament of the Bible reports that Jesus was rejected and crucified at the insistence of the Jewish mob. So the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans was interpreted by medieval Christians as a retribution for the killing of Jesus. The plot of The Merchant of Venice is organized on 2 levels. The main plot is a dispute about a financial loan between the Venetian Antonio and the Jewish moneylender Shylock. The subplot regards the choice of a husband by the rich lady Portia, who lives in Belmont, and who is courted by Bassanio's, Antonio's friend. Antonio is a royal merchant with ships trading to the Levant, England, and Mexico. His noble friendship for his kinsman Bassanio is such that he only loves the world for him. Ideal male friendship is a theme of Renaissance writing. It is called Platonic because first found in the Phaedrus of Plato, the Greek philosopher of the 5th century before Christ. Bassanio's need for money to pay court to Portia is what puts Antonio in the power of Shylock. Antonio borrows 3,000 ducats from the Jewish moneylender Shylock, who hates Antonio. But Antonio promises to pay the money back in 3 months, or to allow Shylock to cut a pound of flesh from near his heart, so the bond is sealed. In the 16th century, Venice was an autonomous trading town, seen by the English as a symbol of wealth, but it was also associated with greed. Jews were forced to wear a red hat to identify themselves and live in the ghetto. The two views of Venice are expressed through Shylock, the Jew who symbolizes the greedy side, and Antonio, the rich but generous Christian merchant who stands for the wealth of Venice. Belmont is Portia's estate. It is a world of ideal love where women seem to have more power than in Venice. It is an idyllic place where love reigns, where a man and a woman, a Christian and a Jew, are brought together, and the Jew's respect and worldly possessions are restored to him. In Elizabethan England, Jews were often portrayed as villains, mocked or marginalized. In creating the character of Shylock, Shakespeare certainly drew on an anti-Semitic prejudice, but at the same time, he included elements that radically unsettled that prejudice. Shylock is a complex character, and Shakespeare emphasized his humanity by showing that his hatred of the Christians arose from the mistreatment and abuse he suffered in a Christian society, which considered him as an outsider, not as a citizen. So readers and audiences feel pity and compassion rather than contempt. The Christian characters present an ambiguous picture. Bassanio wants to marry Portia, first of all, because he is in debt. Shylock argues that Jews are human beings just as Christians are, but Christians such as Antonio hate Jews simply because they are Jews. So while the Christians' characters may talk about mercy, love, and charity, they do not always show these qualities in their behavior. In the final trial, Shylock's enforced conversion finalizes his exclusion, isolating him from his community, the tribe that has represented his cultural and social location. Portia asks a leading question: What mercy can you render him, Antonio? So Shakespeare's audience are thus invited to see Antonio's sentence as Christian mercy, exchanging kindness for Shylock's cruelty. But is it true? We are dealing with Shakespeare's play rather than another play which we might prefer. It belongs then, but it also lives now. It pleases us, but it can still trouble us.